Good morning, the Divide! Hello, Internet, and welcome back to another adventure of Mr. Jammy B'Stard, the luckiest son of a bitch who's ever walked the Mojave Wasteland. Now, in our last episode, we completed the Lonesome Road DLC. We managed to stop the Atomic Destruction version 2. As you can see, we didn't kill Ulysses. There he is, sitting on his rock, just contemplating. Yes. And what we're going to do this episode, there is one location in the Divide we have not set foot in yet, and that is the Courier's Mile. Let's see what other goodies are actually in there. And also, last episode, we hit the level cap. We are now at maximum level, so we will not earn experience points from beyond this point. We will not level up or anything. We're at maximum. So before we go into the Courier's Mile, first we're going to talk to Ulysses.
Full circle. Walked your road. Now back again. Something else in you needing an answer.
I got your final message.
Didn't think I'd be breathing to hear you say that. Message isn't important. Meaning is. Had to speak of it, in case the words got lost in paper, ink, or others' voices. Maybe even yours in time. Still meant for you. Courier to courier. Belongs to you now. Or history.
I reached Vegas and dealt with House.
House spoke. Acted through machines. Sometimes can judge a man by his messengers. Sometimes the messengers judge him. Wonder what happens to Vegas now. The tribes, families. We'll see.
If Vegas falls apart, seems like more history will be lost.
What you did was for the best. The old world died long ago. Anyone who believes they can make it return, and everything will be as it was. It is a dangerous belief. Needs to be silenced before their belief spreads. If you saw a house, you didn't see a man. An old world spirit, perhaps. Filthy, diseased. If so, killing him was mercy, not cruelty.
Have you been to Hopeville since the Ashton missile hit?
Walk there sometimes. Keep the walks short. Still, it's important to see. Something else to answer for. Occasionally sift through the dust, the buildings. See if I can find some history, marks of America. If you want them, keep them. You've earned it. Nothing to be gained by me holding them. And more will surface in time.
I want to hear more about Hoover Dam.
Old world wall, run red with blood of bear and bull. It'll bleed more before the sun sets on the Mojave. That place and I have a past. Owe it a debt, and it owes me. If your path takes you there, know you're not the only one. It's the wall by which this age will be measured. The gravestone of the Mojave. Old world never meant it as such.
Is this where you're making camp?
Not a camp. Vigil, maybe. Never claimed it as mine. If anyone owns the Divide, your claim is stronger than mine. Don't feel like adding a campfire to the ones that already burn below. If you brought Mojave gifts, might be able to shape something for the road.
Any recipes you can teach?
Depends what history has to say about them. There's a lot the land can provide. Mojave's got ways of healing most ills. If not, some tribes are usually found a way you didn't expect. Like healing powders. Tribes back west only use xander and rock flour. There's a way the twin mothers in the east used to brew it, though. Called it bitter drink. Xander and Brock in a bottle. Added some kick to it, so your head doesn't get all clouded.
Can you share the recipe with me?
Can do that, and one better. Just enough around to mix some. Here, might make the twin mother's history live a little longer. You carrying it. When you drink it, down it all in one shot, or your stomach's not going to want to keep going after the second drink.
I'm heading back to the Mojave to settle some things.
Can hear the weight in your feet. You're bound for that old world wall, Hoover Dam. Maybe not now. In time. Bear and bull shed too much blood there to let it go. Can't stop you from going. Wouldn't. A warning, though. The legate Linnaeus, whether Caesar stands or not, Linnaeus will come.
What can you tell me about him?
Linnaeus, butcher, monster, terror of the East. Not even his slaves have seen his face. Struck them blind so they can't. Wears a mask. Don't even know if it's the same man. He put Colorado to the sword. Broke the hangdogs by throwing their hounds upon the flames, so they might burn forever in the afterlife.
Why is he coming west?
To take Hoover Dam, Legion will need something as big as the old world itself. Linnaeus carries all the terrors of the East with him. When he arrives, he'll fall on Hoover Dam like a hammer. Break the bear in two.
He must have a weakness.
His strength lies in his title, and it is his weakness. He will not fight a losing battle and destroy what he represents. Put the idea of loss in him. Convince him the bear will not be the 20th tribe beneath his heel. It will make him pause like nothing on earth. You do not need to convince him alone. Draw upon history. The past of other legates are not filled with victories. Remind Linnaeus of this.
You obviously mean Graham, don't you?
There are other legates, and the one before Linnaeus couldn't take Hoover Dam for Caesar. That legate's mistake is he didn't die trying. His name was Joshua Graham, answered for his failure. Twice, some say. Caesar had him burned and cast into the earth, into the largest canyon you've ever seen. Somehow, Joshua walked away from that, went beyond Caesar's gaze. His footsteps trailing fire, walking from one hell, maybe, to another, when one is ruined like Graham was. Sometimes home is the only place left. If so, he went to New Canaan, Caesar's anger written on him like a book. Caesar's orders to the Frumentari were to watch for him, find Graham, kill him. Didn't try. Graham earned his life and his nature. It'll kill him more surely than any blade of the Legion. So, if you've heard word of it or seen sign of him, let it keep.
I'll remember that.
Then there is nothing more to be done.
Right, to the Courier's Mile. Something on top of here, isn't there? Super Stim Pack. Is that birdsong in the Divide? First place we need to visit is a commissary. Cell overcharge. Oh no, oh no, you did not just fire a flip-head missile at me. Shit, 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 shit. You know, I've been thinking there might be a way to take my unarmored skill all the way up to 100, so I can have every single skill at 100, but gonna have to go to the big empty. Sorry, big mountain! Flipping hell, even I'm saying it. Even I'm bloody saying it. I heard a marked man. First thing we're going to do is sell that nail gun. Okay, mods. As you can see, these mods are very expensive, so we're going to take all of them. 67,000 caps. So, after coming back from the Courier's Mile, we will have a fully upgraded shoulder-mounted machine gun and fully upgraded red glare. I wonder. Hey! That jury rigging perk is very useful. I can't believe I've never used it before in any of my builds. Oh, please. Whee! Armor piercing rounds. Stealth boys! Nice! Hollow rifle is awesome. Armor piercing. Okay, let's quickly save. Bugger me, that was close! They're all using armor-piercing bullets. Yeah, they are. There we go. Right, there we are. Okay. Travel to the Curious Mile. If we do that, we're going to switch that and that. Because this part is going to be swimming in radiation. All of those. Okay, armor-piercing bullets. The spacesuit actually has very high anti-radiation. It's like plus 40 to rad resistance, and with Ulysses Duster, that's a plus 50 to rad resistance. So, Jammy's rad resistance is 90, which is going to be interesting. Okay. One side of the Curious Mile is marked men, the other side is death claws. Any food items we picked up here will be of no use to us because they are irradiated. Yeah, that's all irradiated. As we get closer and closer to ground zero of the explosion, the radiation we're exposed to will get higher and higher and higher. Take another rat away. Drop another rat X. Here they come. Damn it. There's another warhead over there. What? Oh, come on! I think this might be a call for the fat man. Oh, holy hand grenades. Always give them a try. Okay, let's save again so I don't have to blow up that flipping warhead again. That's one less thing I have to do. That's one. Hallelujah! Can't get me from there, don't even try. Oh! Bollocks! Bollocking hell! So it looks like the marksmen and the Deathclaws don't fight each other. Oh shit! Shit! Save again. Bugger me, this is tense. shotgun. No doctor's bags. Healing poultice. Let's soldier onwards. It's my last warhead here. About to go into mild radiation poisoning. Right away. Another Rad-X. Whoa! Finish him! Safe again. Ah! Now this here is a very interesting phenomenon. It's called nuclear shadows. They're very common with people who stand close to ground zero of a nuclear explosion. After this video, go to Google and read up on the subject. It's actually quite fascinating. Oh, come to Papa! I just want the mini nukes. And your magnum rounds. And your armor-piercing bullets. I'll take both kinds. I'll take all kinds. That's all irradiated, we can't take it. Now we're going to the marked men side of town. Crap. Tick tick tickety means get your ass out of there. Oh. Somebody's not happy. He's not happy at all. Oh shit, shit, shit. Armor condition is seriously low. What the flip? That was close. That's what you get. 12 gauge magnum, I'll take those. Piercing, I'll take those. Veteran helmets. Scout armor. There we are. Weapons. Minigun. Armor piercing bullets. Let's put a weapon repair kit on that. Save again. Let's go over this side of town. Piercing rounds. Got a lot of armor piercing rounds these fuckers have accumulated. Well, I'm not gonna be what's the word? I'm not gonna be hard up for ammo at the Battle of Hoover Dam. There it is, the last warhead. Away. Laser detonator. And there we go, 30 for 30. All warheads destroyed. I think there's a Ralphie poster in here as well. It's almost 1,000 rounds of ammunition. 5. Ah, I can't take it. Okay. Ammunition. Whoa! What? Okay. Get rid of those incendiaries. Dump 129. Armor piercing. I don't need that many. Dump 295. Yeah, 600. That's a nice round number. Fusion breeder. Nah, okay. Let's take your power armor. It does have the Brotherhood insignia. Rad resistance is 10 now. I think there's also a Ralphie poster around here. Hang on, pause the record. Okay, right, let's find that last Ralphie poster. Before that... Yep, And more ran away. Gotta go. Now, if we were going... Ooh, that's a lot of rats we're taking on. Let's see, 3, 4. There it is. I know I haven't got all their Alfie posters. I'm missing 3. Alright, and that's the Courier's Mile. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the record here, and I'll rejoin you guys when we are back at the Lucky 38. And we're back. Now, I got all the gear that I wanted to take along with me. What we're going to do now, we are going to recruit... Actually, what is the time? 6 p.m. We are going to recruit our final human companion, or humanoid companion. Actually, before I go any further, back to the presidential suite, because I want to take Eddie along with me, now that he's fully upgraded. Because all the upgrades we found for the Eddie in the Divide, Mojave Wasteland Eddie now has. Companion protocol, begin. Pair my weapons. Engine cells. I don't need energy cells right now. I'd like some satchel charges, Eddie. Final humanoid companion. Now, technically, there are 2. There's also Lily in Jacobstown, but we're not going to have her as a companion because, well, the only way to trigger her quest is you need to get her in a combat situation where she's practically near death and she needs to survive. And then wait, I think it's 48 hours. And you're welcome. And she'll play an audio recording from her grandchildren. And it's when she explains she takes medication for her stealth boy addiction, but the thing is, she's been skipping doses of it because one of the side effects of the medicine is her memories start fading away, and she doesn't want to forget her grandchildren. And one of the kindest ways you can interact with her is tell her, well, keep taking the medicine at half doses. And that's all you can do.
Come to Mick and Ralph's for all your shopping needs.
Because if you tell her to stop taking the medication, she'll eventually die. Or she'll go insane, like any other Night King. But if you tell her to keep taking the doses, she'll eventually forget her grandchildren. So taking half doses is the kindest thing you can do. Oh, hey, it's the Weathers family.
Hey. Thank you. We never would have escaped without your help.
Julie.
I sincerely hope the NCR are getting supplies in place to defend against an attack, because it looks like the Legion has plans for the dam again.
Suppose I can drop off some Fixer. 3. Right away. 3. That's all for now.
Thanks for the donation.
I'd like to buy some medical supplies.
We don't have a lot right now, but this is what I can offer for sale.
Okay. Right, boxing times, we'll keep that. Fixing things. Future weapons today. Lad's life. Mill Surf review. Patriots cookbook. Programmer's digest. Salesman's weekly. Today's physician. True police stories. sell those as well. Tales of Chivalry. And La Fantoma. Cute. Buff out. No. Thank you very much. Ooh. I think the followers should support the NCR in the coming battle at the dam.
Why should we support the NCR? Their continual operational incompetence gets their soldiers killed, and they hold a monopoly on water in the Mojave.
They won't have nearly enough doctors without the followers' support.
But the followers aren't fighters. We get annihilated as frontline medics.
The followers would act as support safely away from combat.
In that case, they'll have our support. We cannot afford to let the Legion win.
Ah, now this is the guy here, Arcade Gannon.
What's up? Hi. If you're looking for medical help, try the other doctors. I'm just a researcher. Not even a particularly good one.
What kind of research?
Oh, you know, finding alternative treatments for common illnesses and injuries, stim packs out of barrel cacti, and other fantastic improbabilities. As far as fruitless wastes of time go, it's quite noble in its aims.
What kinds of illnesses and injuries?
Cuts, lacerations, broken bones, infections resulting from all of the above. Common cold, influenza, take your pick. There are plenty of ways to die out here. And most of them, surprisingly, don't have anything to do with war. Just common human fragility.
So what's the goal?
For the past 100 years or so, the followers have managed to get by using salvaged medical supplies from the old world. But the side effect of medical success is that more people live longer. Funny how that works. Eventually, we'll run out of hospitals to loot. We need new ways to produce those supplies, or maybe old ways if this research goes anywhere.
You don't sound too enthusiastic about it.
I'm enthusiastic about helping people, but nihil novi sub sole.
Nihal what?
Oh, sorry. There's nothing new under the sun. If agave and mesquite were that miraculous, the locals would have figured it out a few thousand years ago.
Where did you learn Latin?
Not from the Legion, if that's what you're getting at. Books, sheet music, gladiator movie holotapes, bits and pieces here and there. The followers have extensive libraries, but we all draw water from the same old well. Even Caesar.
How much do you know about Caesar?
I don't know anything that the others couldn't tell you. Caesar was one of the followers. Before my time, of course. He wanted to rebuild the new world in the image of the old. A sad story of good intentions gone bad. In that regard, he's hardly unique. If you set aside his leadership capabilities, extensive knowledge, and ruthless cunning, he's just another jerk who steps on people to get his way.
Let's talk about something else.
Certainly.
Why do you do research instead of providing medical assistance?
Not all followers are people persons. Besides, someone needs to do research. I have no problem with Julie sticking me back here. Out of sight, out of mind. There are worse things one can be, though I do admit it is a bit boring. Though it has a noble goal, I don't think this research will yield much fruit. No pun intended.
You could come with me.
No offense intended, but why should I go anywhere with you?
Things are bad around here. I like to make a difference, and I'd like you to help me.
That seems appropriately resolute and yet vague. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and go with you, but let me be clear about something. If you plan to help Caesar's Legion, this is going to be a brief relationship. I may not have all the answers for how to fix Freeside's problems, but Caesar taking control isn't part of the solution. Fair?
Perfectly.
There's something about that robot that doesn't seem all right to me. I'm not saying we shouldn't take it with us. I'm just saying that if it were to fall into Lake Mead and be irreparably damaged, and if you threw an EMP grenade in after it, Well, there are worse things happening in the world, right?
You got a problem with Eddie?
It just seems a little twitchy. Some of these robots, you look at them the wrong way, don't screw in a vacuum tube right. The next thing you know, you're a pile of ash on the floor and someone's stepping out of a vertibird to sweep your remains into a Nuka-Cola bottle.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Safety first. That's all I'm saying. What's up?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm really very boring. You'd get better stories out of a Freeside junkie.
Arcade, I'm asking you because I'm interested. Don't put yourself down.
Oh, all right. I'm 30-ish. Well, late 30s. I was born west of here. I was an only child and spent most of my time with my mother. My father died when I was young and I never got over it. Oh, and I like medicine and reading books about failed pre-war socioeconomic policies. Right now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, why hasn't some lucky man scooped this bachelor off his feet? Like I said, I'm boring.
Why don't you like talking about yourself?
Some people do. I just don't. Look, I appreciate that you're trying to be friendly, but I'd just rather not discuss it.
Let's trade equipment.
Sure, just don't treat me like a pack Brahmin, okay?
Now we need to activate his quest, and it's quite easy. First place we're going to go is Cat McCarran. We're going to talk to that prick Hildern. I got the elite gear on, and he has the Desert Ranger gear on. Angela? Dr. Hildern.
Yes? Something else you needed?
I have some questions.
Oh? What might those be?
Tell me about the OSI.
The Office of Science and Industry. It's a rather expansive topic. I could talk for hours, but I'm sure I'd bore you. Suffice to say, we are the leading edge of the NCR. Our work focuses on practical matters: medicine, engineering, biology. The dam, for instance. OSI routes its energy supply to our cities in the West. That's only one responsibility of this office.
You said you were the director of the OSI?
Director of the entire OSI? Me? If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to plant seditious ideas in my head. No, I direct our Eastern operations. I've been responsible for squeezing unprecedented levels of power from the dam. I'm also confronting the problem of food production in what little spare time I have, but I've found some promising leads.
You're doing all these things yourself?
Yes, with the assistance of my team, of course.
So the NCR has a food shortage?
Not yet, but our government understands the value of proactive thought. Our studies project an imbalance between production and consumption. Or, for a layman such as yourself, not enough food, too many mouths to feed. Mass starvation in a decade or so.
What other responsibilities does this office have?
We aid some programs the Republic has sponsored involving sharecropper farms in the area. But those haven't panned out too well from what I hear. There have been complaints about the amount of water we're supplying. But those are just excuses for lack of diligence, I'm sure.
Do you control the dam from here?
Directly? No. But we attempt to maximize its output. You have no idea how difficult it is to provide power to an entire nation. Fortunately, we also have the Helios 1 facility. One of our external contractors recently got the station up and running. His name was something like exceptional or marvelous or...
Fantastic.
Yes, that was it. Exactly.
What do you think of NCR's chances against the Legion?
To be frank, I have no idea. I leave the fighting to Colonel Shu, and I expect him to leave the science to me. Too many people have opinions on things they know nothing about. And the more ignorant they are, the more opinions they have.
What's your opinion of Dr. Williams?
Williams is an admirable researcher. If she wasn't, I'd have terminated her contract, and she'd be begging for work from my former employers.
You didn't always work for the OSI?
No. The OSI hasn't been around for very long. I received my training elsewhere.
So, who did train you?
Before the bombs, I might have studied at any number of colleges, universities. They gave a man a chance to advance himself, or so I've heard. But after the bombs, until a few years ago, anyone with half a brain had one choice: the followers of the apocalypse. Didn't matter if you agreed with them or not. You either played along or you were turned away. Yes, goodbye.
Hildern is a good example of big-picture obsession gone too far. At some point, he became so fixated on large-scale results that he lost the concept of the common good along the way. It's an inhumane kind of public service when people and the basic resources they need become numbers in a ledger.
I'm sure he means well.
It isn't enough to mean well if you don't do good. I'm sure Caesar meant well, too.
Okay, well that's one place. Second place. It's at the far south of the map. Crash vertibird. So we go... Set the marker. Travel to the Matthews Animal Husbandry Farm. Also, Brahman is still alive. Okay, pulse gun. Crash vertibird.
A vertibird. Interesting. It's been a long time since I've seen one of these.
What do you know about them?
What does anyone know about them? Big flying machines, right? Crazy helicopters. So weird.
That should be all we need.
I need to talk to you about something, if you have a minute.
Sure. What is it?
Any day now? Caesar's going to try to march across Hoover Dam and kick NCR out of the Mojave. We're getting caught up in something important out here. Hell, after how you handled Benny, you're practically right in the middle of all this. I know I'm just along for the ride, but it's made me think about the past and how I might be able to help out.
What do you mean?
I wasn't always with the followers, or with the NCR. My late father was an officer in a group called the Enclave, a remnant of America's pre-war government. Memories being short around here, not a whole lot of people remember them. But they did bad things. Terrorized communities, kidnapped people. Eventually someone stopped them. I was born a few years later at a military base on the coast, a place called Navarro.
What happened to Navarro?
After the Enclave's command structure fell apart, it was only a matter of time before Navarro was overrun by NCR forces. My mother and I left with some of the troopers from my father's old unit, the same people I've kept in contact with over the years. Anyone who didn't get out was killed by the NCR. Even some of the ones who escaped were eventually hunted down by the Brotherhood of Steel.
Where did the Enclave go?
A lot of different places. I only know what I was told. Some of them were cut down by the NCR and the Brotherhood. Some of them went east. My mother never told me what happened to my father, but she and I went south with some others and integrated into the NCR. When the NCR learned that Enclave personnel had integrated, we kept moving to the fringes.
It's one of the reasons why I wound up out here.
So, where are we going with all this?
The Enclave did a lot of bad things, but there were good people at Navarro. Good people with a lot of experience. Not many of them are alive anymore, but I think they can make a difference in the fight against Caesar.
Do you want them to help NCR? I mean, a lot of bad blood from what you've told me.
That's a hard question to answer. I know I don't want the Legion to take Hoover Dam. So militarily, yes, I want them to help NCR. If possible, I'd like to figure out a way to help the NCR win Hoover Dam without holding New Vegas.
I'll see what I can do.
Great. I'd like you to talk to the old-timers, the remnants. I don't think I can convince them by myself. To them, I'm still a kid. But you're a big part of what's happening out here. When you talk to them, they'll understand how important this all is. I've kept in contact with them over the years, so I know where you can find them. But I doubt they'll open up to you unless I come along. I know I'm not always the most serious guy around, but this means a lot to me. Thanks.
Alright. Tesla beaten prototype for Old Lang Syne. And this is Arcade's quest. Now, Arcade's quest you can only do towards the end of the story of the game. And since, you know, I am very close to the end of the story, yep, the timing seems perfect. First place we're going to go is Nipton. Get our heads down for the night.
Looks like break time's over.
From that trailer.
Looks like break time's over.
Prefer to find a mattress that isn't stained with blood. Okay, to the convenience store then. There's boxcars.
Are you fucking...
Dehydration level has increased. Okay, first place on the Whirlwind Tour, Novak. This is Daisy.
You ever seen one of those rangers in black armor? I wouldn't want to make one of those mad.
Now this is Daisy. She used to be a vertibird pilot.
Fine weather for flying. It's times like these that make me miss it all.
What do you do in Novak?
I help folks strip down the more complicated bits of salvage they bring in. Engines mostly. The bits and pieces we take out are usually worth more than the whole thing put together.
Were you a pilot?
Vertibird pilot. 71 missions and only lost one chopper. Rotor malfunction over Klamath. Hard landing, but I walked away.
Did you fly for the NCR?
4? No, not exactly. It was a long time ago. Things are a lot different these days, and those days are way behind me.
Arcade asked me to find you. I'm reuniting the remnants, and they'll need your piloting skills.
Told you everything about us, did he? Well, it's been a while since I've had my hands on the controls of a vertibird. There's a chance I could crash us in the middle of Lake Mead. That place seems to attract aircraft for some reason. But if I get one more chance to fly, count me in. I'll be there. My part of the passphrase is dear.
How did you like flying vertibirds for the Enclave?
I was never happier than when I was in the cockpit. I was able to go just about anywhere and everywhere, limited only by the fuel I could carry. There were more than a few missions where I took the scenic route home just so I could stay in the air. Caught hell for it every time, but worth it. Some of the things we did were questionable, I know. That's just how it was back then. Figure I've done enough good to make up for any sins, anyhow.
Later, Daisy.
Watch your six out there.
Since my mother died, Daisy's been the only woman in my life. She was the only other woman close to my father, too. She flew him out on over a dozen missions, including his last. I've always been close to Daisy. There have been some good men along the way, but lovers make poor confidants. Daisy never had children of her own, so she was always there to listen. Being in the Enclave didn't mean much to her. She just loved to fly. It broke her heart to be grounded.
It was an important part of her life. Why shouldn't she enjoy it?
As screwed up as it sounds, at least she was a part of something. Granted, it was something admittedly pretty bad, but it was something. If you spent the first half of your life flying Enclave troopers in a vertibird, I suppose picking over pre-war rocket parts doesn't quite compare.
Where next? Oh, Cannibal Johnson's cave is right next to, Spawn. Here they come! Clear.
it's about damn time. What took you?
You were expecting someone else?
I've been in the Reaper's shadow for a long time now, and I thought he'd finally showed up to collect. He's just mocking me now.
Tell me about yourself.
What do you want to know?
Are you a cannibal?
Ha! I'm not saying. It's part of my mystique, after all.
It sounds like there's an interesting story behind it.
The truth of it is that I did cut out a raider's heart, but only took a bite to mess with his buddies. They had me surrounded, and I went with the first thing that came to mind. Some ran, and the rest were startled just long enough.
Do you live out here all by yourself?
Sure do. Had a wife for a while. Tribal girl, really pretty eyes. But she's been gone a long time now.
I don't have any more questions. Let's talk about something else.
Well, ain't like I've got places to be.
Arcade asked me to gather all the remaining members of the Enclave in the Mojave.
Thought I recognized the fellow with you. So what's this reunion all about then?
He thinks your experience and technology will help resolve the conflict in this region.
Well, now there's an interesting idea. Do a bit of good before we're all dead and forgotten. You can count me in. Oh, and in case Arcade forgot to mention it, there's a 5-word passphrase needed to get into the bunker. My word is old. Appropriate, huh?
If I had to pick anyone who didn't belong in the Enclave, it would definitely be Johnson. He hated what the Enclave was doing. Day to day, week to week, he would question orders, subvert mission objectives, do anything he could to serve without serving. It's amazing he was never court-martialed. He always had good things to say about my father. Said I was like him in a lot of ways. I wish I knew.
I'm sure your father would be proud of you.
I wonder if he would. It's pointless, I know, but sometimes I wonder what he wanted me to be. Maybe being a doctor in the middle of Nevada wasn't exactly what he had in mind for his little boy.
And this seems like a convenient place to stop. So, in today's episode, we walked the Courier's Mile, and we gathered our final humanoid companion, Arcade Gannon, whose family used to be in the Enclave. Now, the Enclave were prominently known in Fallout 2, but they also make an appearance in Fallout 3. What we're doing right now, we're gathering all the old remnants of the Enclave together, so they'll be of help when the Battle for Hoover Dam comes. And that will be very, very, very soon. And we'll continue gathering the remnants of the Enclave next time. Again, if you are liking this Let's Play series so far, please feel free to leave a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can follow me on Twitter at SandyBFox. Tune in again next time for another exciting adventure of Mr. Jammy B'Stard, the luckiest son of a bitch who's ever walked the Mojave Wasteland. Same Fallout time, same Fallout channel. Bye.